off-balance levels, all right? We don't talk about this as much in Jiu-Jitsu as we used to in the old days. The old days were a lot more conceptual. We understand the concept, we can build a technique. That makes sense. Now we teach a technique. It's kind of like we no longer teach you the concept of what algebra is. They just start giving you problems, and that's kind of it's a way to teach, it's just not the best way. So I'm going back to kind of thinking about some of these things. So Joel has basically 4 major off-balance levels: the head, the shoulders, the hips, and the knees, okay? If we do a lift, then his feet come lose contact with the ground. That could be another way to take his balance, but without base, you have no balance, so that's reasonably obvious. Okay, we've talked a lot about affecting one level. If I turn his head to a point where it doesn't turn any further and pull, he will lose balance. Does that make sense? Now again, I'm not trying to show you guys some cool ninja magic. I'm just showing you the function of the body, how balance and your structure of your body work. Likewise, if I grab this shoulder and I turn it to the maximum range, he will tend to start losing balance. Does that make sense? Follow a similar concept as the head. Turn it far enough and it should affect the balance. If I'm able to grab a hip and I pull far enough, he will lose balance. Does that make sense? Notice I'm following the concept here. Lastly, if I hook a knee and I'm able to pull him out, he will lose balance. All right, so if we know that, how does that really matter to us? Or why am I showing you this? And ultimately, I hope that you guys will see that the answer is, if I pick one of these off balance levels, I can break balance and make a throw to take the guy down. Now, what's probably the most common way for me to control his head to make a throw? Pick a throw that you like. An arm throw. It actually says it in the title. Head and arm. I'm technically going to affect the head and the shoulders, right? So if I'm here and he's got balance and poise, I can't throw him easily. But once I affect the head and pull on the shoulder in a way that his balance is broken, this becomes a very easy technique. Pretty cool. What's another throw where I'm really affecting the head?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. We'll go back to that other one in a minute. If I get him here and I pull his head down, particularly if I shove his head close to his feet, he really starts losing balance, okay? It's just a hard way to stand because it locks the hips and locks the knees in this position when our head is super low. So if I go to make the Nick Fury throw this way, once I drop his head down low enough, he has to roll, right? Once I just let him go, wasn't actually expecting him to make the roll. I was just gonna kind of show you, but thanks, Joel. So, if I'm gonna make this throw, I wanna break the balance, right? For head and arm throw. If I wanna make Nick Fury, pull him down, I tuck him in, I hold tight. When I make this throw, I'm controlling the head. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Ah. Let's think about this. This is the typical way that we like to grab the head. Or this, like a head lock. There are other ways. I could pull him down low here and then change my grip to here. Like I'm gonna do Nick Fury, but I'm gonna have him kind of like in a front headlock position, right? So I pull him down and I get front headlock position. Now, if I get low enough here, then this becomes fireman's carry. Does that make sense? And I'm doing that with no effort, not doing a lift. Just showing you that there are ways to affect the balance using this head. In a more traditional sense, if I immobilize the arm, and then I push the chin back, I can reach very easily. Does that make sense? What we want to do is, let's get a partner, and let's start kind of thinking about this head. We can pull it, we can push it, we can ultimately twist it, or twist it this way. All of those things will cause a balance effect. We want you to experiment. Play with the head, turn it, twist it, lift it, push it, see what you can do and see if at some point they go from based to something else where you can feel like you own their balance. If you own their balance, you can throw them or you can reset. Get a partner. All right. So let's control the head. I can control the head basically from the front. This sets up hara gauche, right? Also head and arm throw. It sets up a lot of things if I try to control it basically like this, okay? I can also pull his head down, and this sets up other things, right? Satsume waza. These are sacrifice techniques. I can hold on here, hold on here. I drop low enough, he has to roll, or something bad happens to his, basically he's gonna yank all of his hamstrings out and he's gonna hurt his neck. But I start sitting down and I'll watch, all right? So it's simple sacrifice throw. And I made almost no effort. I'm not trying to say don't use effort. I want you to use effort. I want you to use speed and technique. I'm trying to show you that if you control the head, right, some cool things can happen. How do I get there? For wrestlers who are in this position, and I want to get to this position, I have to transition a couple of hand positions, right? So if I'm here, right, I'm gonna probably shoot and get the overhook, palm this down, grab the belt, sit, and now I've got a good pinning move. If I'm a Jiu-Jitsu kind of a player, let's just say judo. I'm a judo kind of a player, right? I'm a little bit further out. I pull him into me here. Hook, grab, now I'm gonna do the feet. Now I'm gonna kick, watch the feet, kick, right? It's a little more judo-y or Jiu-Jitsu-y, okay? Pretty cool? Sorry. Could I move the head in this direction somehow? Maybe. Make this grip, but this hand's gonna do, I'm gonna initiate, start the work here, make hara gauche, okay? Break the balance here, right? Show you from the other angle. Broke his balance. Now, I grab here, set, lift, kick. Okay? Normally, if I was going to do a left-handed hara gauche, I would be here to make this throw. Okay? If I started in this foot, pull hard, grab here, lift, kick. Okay? So we can pull to the right, pull to the left. Remember I showed you this one earlier, right? Old self-defense technique, right? Lots of options. Pretty cool. Who did something on the lines of head and arm throw? Super cool. All right. Who did something on the lines of Nick Fury? Super cool. Who went ahead, started here, pulled down, spun the hand, took the top position, and made fireman's carry? Okay, a couple of you tried that one. Not too bad. All right. If you control the head, you're going to be in a pretty neat position. All right. Questions on that little piece? All right. How do we? Normally, I step two, and I push the shoulders. I reap high, and make this throw. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Normally. I'm going to pin, right? And I'm going to turn his head this way. It saves me a lot of trouble, right? Okay? Pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Everything has its counter. Somebody will troll me on Facebook and say, what if he ducks onto your hand? Well, that would be bad. I pin this, I do this, he ducks under my hand. Backup. I make the backup throw. Okay? Guys, there's a counter for every single throw. In most cases, there's a counter for other counters, and there's always a defense that can slow, stop, or impede what you're trying to do. Pretty cool?
Sure.
Change partners, start making throws. Any throw that you want, try to control the head, but make a good throw. You pick the throw, make a good throw. Understand you're obviously working the head if you can, but the shoulders, the hips, and the legs, you can affect any of these off balance levels to make your throw. Go. Ground fighting has throws. Who knew that?
Me.
Ground fighting has throws. All right.
I've seen
let's see. I don't have to demonstrate. Let's have Kaylin, you and Caleb. All right. Grab each other in either a wrestling or a jiu-jitsu kind of a grip. Now, both of you go to your knees. Now, make one of the throws that you'd like to make when you're standing from this position. Oh look, it's head and arm throw from the kneeling position. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's see if Caleb has one that he can pick up. All right, basically like an ankle propping throw, right? You kick the knee out, you rolled over. Makes sense? Caitlin, do you have another one?
I was gonna do that one. Let's see my favorite.
All right, that's a big theory right there. Works pretty good from the kneeling position. Caleb, do you have anything left?
Yeah, really cool.
All right, basically a double leg. Doesn't all that kind of make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now, if we are in a position with our partner, for some reason, one of us got thrown, and we're not in a position to finish the fight. We're not in a submission position. You need to be in a dominant position. The mount, side control, the back, knee on. You got to be in a good position to finish the fight. So we find ourselves kind of in this position, right? A lot of jiu-jitsu players fight from here, and the first thing they do is what?
Jump guard.
Jump guard. Ha! I got you. Well, you just gave up a great opportunity to take a dominant position. If you understand throws, how hard is it going to be from a kneeling position for me to do a lifting technique?
Pretty hard.
This is going to be really hard. I'm going to have to get onto him and like lift him up and down. So all of the suplex kind of maneuvers, the major outer reap is pretty hard, but we can do some of these smaller things. But guess what? The number one way to take someone down is
Through the head.
control the head. So what do most people do, right? We do this, and we start grabbing, and we start thinking about these arms, and he's pretty well based out. But once I grab his head, and I literally shove that to his knee, now I can take his back, right? Once I grab his head, and I pull it down, right? Now I can make this throw just like Caitlin did, right? Once I grab his head, and I pull this arm down, I'll do it this way towards the camera. I pull this arm down and I shove his head this way. Well, now I've got a head and arm throw. Control the head. Controlling the head is amazing. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. You'll start on your knees and you're going to fight for a throw. If you get to this position, let's say that's yellow. That's kind of a caution. If both feet ever come up, it's over. Start over. I want you to try these throws by manipulating the head. Right? Will that work?
Yes, sir.
Preferably from a front position. We'll go to the back in a minute. Go. How difficult will it be for Brent and I to grab each other's arms and control the head? Really? Really?
Yeah.
Think out of the box. How will I control his head if I've got him by the arms?
Shoulders.
You could wrap it. Wrap his arms.
Box is good. Oh, in your head.
What do you think?
Nice.
Did I offset his balance by moving his head back into an uncomfortable position?
Yes, sir.
I didn't headbutt him. I kind of bulldozed into it, right? We think so often that in order for me to do something, I have to make this grip. And the grip is part of every throw in some way. But I see guys that are doing like this. Brent's going to try to throw me. I'm going to try to throw him. Go, Brent, throw me. And then, come on, throw me. Like a minute. Push hard, drive into it. All right, now. If his head goes low, right? Now watch. I start pushing, and then his head went low. I was able to roll him over. Does that make sense? Okay. Pretty cool. So I used my shoulders to push his head towards the mat. Then I lifted up on this arm. His balance was broken. How do we know his balance is broken? I'll give you a hint. Look at his base. What's on the ground? His knees and his feet. All right? Now watch. When he's off balance, watch what happens to his knees and his feet. See how the feet start coming off the ground? That's an immediate tell that you own him. Now, watch him get super low. He's gonna hold his position, but he's just gonna flatten out and he's just gonna stay low. When I shove his head to the ground, he gets really low, right? And what? It's hard to throw it. But I gotta get that head here, where it's super uncomfortable. Then that leg will come up. To some extent, that is a technique. When we're standing, if I can get his head lower, then his knees won't he fall. Same sort of principle. Questions on what we did so far? All right, if you're going to grab the shoulders, try not to headbutt anyone in the face. Use your head to affect their balance. Push the head. Okay? You're doing this throw, right? I'm not going to do this from the shoulders, right? I'm affecting the shoulders, and I'm affecting the hips here. How do I make this a head throw? Push the head. Push the head. Keep pushing the head. Okay? Give it a try. Sir. You got 1 minute. We got to make throw on the ground. It's hard to control the head from certain positions. If I'm facing him, the body bends forward nicely, I can control the head. Right? So we're here, and I slip and I move to here. Now, how am I going to really control his head? Right? I'm controlling the arm. I can drive forward and I can drive his head to the ground this way. That kind of makes sense, but I'm really controlling the rest of his body. I'm pushing on different balance points. I've taken away his ability to post. I didn't control the head. So, a lot of people will turtle up. So he turtles up. He turtles up. I can throw him different ways from this position. Okay? I've seen some ginormous Russians. They literally wrap in, they pick the guy up, and they body slam him from that. I don't know how they do it, man. It's all power. It's all strength. You can do that. It's legit. I've seen it. I don't teach it because it requires brute strength, right? But in this case, it's hard for me to really control the head from behind. This is the one place I would say I wouldn't worry too much about the head. There is an alternative, okay? And if you're in here and you reach in this way and you grab the head this way, now I pull the head till it hurts him. And then he will give me the position. That's the only thing I can really think of easily. Does that make sense? And that's a wrestling move that I've seen you do. So the bottom line is there's a way to even get to the neck or bend the neck, offset the balance to make the throw from the back. Questions on why the head is so cool, why it's so valuable?
Can you do that one more time?
We'll let Caitlin do it. All right, so she's from behind. She's going to try to entangle the head, pull the head into his knees, right? And then drive forward this way to make the throw. Make sense?
Sir.
Both hands, one hand fishes under, do it again, let's do it by the numbers. Caitlin turns up. He doesn't want to get an armbar, he doesn't want rear naked choke. She drives one hand in like a half Nelson. Now, if you do a full Nelson, your body's going to be in the way, it's going to be a little difficult. So what does she do? She slightly moves to the side and goes under the arm and makes kind of a half Nelson one side, and then, well, it's not even a half Nelson anymore. She's not under the arm very well. She is kind of half Nelson. Anyways, she's going to use her shoulders to push his shoulder and yank on the neck and bend the neck in an uncomfortable way. He gives it up because it hurts. It's uncomfortable. Pretty cool? All right. Questions on attacking the head? Questions?
Can it be any other body part besides the hand?
Of course.
Obviously not the legs, since you're already on your knees, but can you like possibly twist the arm in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm in this position and I don't want to affect the head for some reason, there's a shoulder throw right here. Right, I've affected the shoulder. I pulled him over my leg. Okay? Caleb demonstrated basically ankle propping throw from this position. He attacks the leg here, he sits, he pulls, and he rolls to the top. Okay? Essentially, right? Trying to think of ways to not touch the head. I attack the head a lot, so I'm thinking head and arm throw, doesn't count, affecting the head, right? Nick Fury, doesn't count, affecting the head.
You do hip throw.
So, I could duck in, I could make to this position, pull the shoulder down, and I could step, make hip throw, right? If I don't want to step over, it's going to kind of look like head and arm throw. Right here, I'm going to drive here and end up in kind of a head and arm or a scarf hold position. So kind of think of what hand throws do I have? One hand shoulder throw, two hand shoulder throw, hip throw, Tayatosh. All those are good hand throws. And they will work to some extent. Now, they are better when they're standing. But I'm saying when you're on the ground, don't sit there and think, what am I going to do? I'm kind of stuck here. And then you ultimately get rolled. Think about what throw do I have, right? If I can get to the right position, just about every throw that I like will work. I don't think I can get minor inner reap. I don't think I can get in this way and do a minor inner reap. That one would be hard. But I could do minor outer reap this way. If I can trap it and I can turn it, I could probably make to the outside. Some of the throws will be harder than others. But this is for you to think, and for you to think, crap, how many people have been in the kneeling position and they're like, crap, I don't have an arm bar from here, I don't have a leg lock from here, I'm gonna have to get a position. Happens all the time. This is important jiu-jitsu work. The ground work requires us to know what to do here. Okay? Pretty cool? All right, we got 5 minutes. We must fight!